and today I'm going to be making pretzel jello for you. Now, I tell my friends all the time I'm going to make them pretzel jello, and they think, ew, what is that? It's pretzels inside the jello? And I say, no, no, no. This is a must-have at every family gathering for the Meyers side. My dad's one of 5 kids, so lots of people. At every family gathering, we make 2 trays of this. It's a 3-layer dessert. We have it at every family gathering. We almost serve it as a side dish, although for all intents and purposes, it's a dessert. And so that's what I'm making for you today. And it starts with 2 cups of crushed pretzels. Now I use the blender. You can use a Ziploc bag and bang out with a rolling pin. However you want to crush up the pretzels is fine. But you want to evenly distribute the pretzels. Just give it a nice shake. I use a 9x13 cake pan. However you want to do it's fine. I'm using glass today. Ziploc Glad container is great too for carrying it to other places if you're serving it someplace else. Now, Paula, I know you love your butter, and in this recipe we go all out. It's 2 sticks of melted butter, so it makes about a cup, and you want to pour that all over the crushed pretzels. And you really want to mix it nice and evenly throughout the pan. Just want to make sure that all the butter gets on the crushed pretzels. And then to add a little bit of sweetness, you want to add a tablespoon of sugar, and you just want to sprinkle it all over so it gets nicely distributed throughout the pan. And now this recipe, this doesn't go to waste. Everything gets eaten. If anything, everyone in our family has to make sure that they get first before anyone is even allowed to go back up for seconds. And you can really do it any time of year. This is something that you can have for Thanksgiving. We do it for Christmas, Easter, seriously, any family gathering. We have this recipe, and it's great. Again, it's really refreshing. The bottom layer, again, is the pretzels, and then the middle layer is going to be our Philadelphia cream cheese with Cool Whip topping and more sugar. And then the top layer is a fruit. Any fruit you want is fine, and we're going to do strawberries today, and it's going to be with whatever jello flavor you want. So you can mix it up. We're doing strawberry fruit with the strawberry jello. And once this is really nice, you want to pack it down really well because this is obviously going to be the base, and you don't want any of the layers really melding together through, so you want to make sure it's nice and evenly divided. And obviously, once it's nice and baked, it'll be really nice, golden, crunchy, and give it a great texture for the bottom of the dessert. So once this is all evenly distributed, you want to bake it at a 400 degree oven for 10 minutes. And this is going to get really nice and golden brown. Alright, so now you have your crust, and it should now be really nice, light and golden brown. And the most important thing here is that you want it to be completely cooled. Usually use any size cooling rack you want. Make sure it gets some air, lightly ventilated area throughout your house, and have it cool really nice and completely, because the middle layer is the creamy layer. And the creamy layer is a whole container of Cool Whip, 10-ounce container. Of course, the Philadelphia cream cheese, 8 ounces, a whole box. And you want to make sure that the cream cheese gets nice and softened, so leave it on the counter a little bit before you do this. And just medium-sized bowl, the entire container of Cool Whip. And this adds the lightness because you have the cream cheese, which is a little bit denser, and then you want to make sure that the whipped cream gets a lightness. Whole can of cream cheese, and then a cup of sugar. Add that sweetness. And I usually use a hand mixer. You can do it with a spoon if you'd like, get a little arm workout, but this usually goes by really fast if it's nice and softened. And of course, this is a little extra dessert for later if you want. It's my favorite part, to lick the blades. They're usually fought over in this house. So once you have this nicely mixed dessert, I usually give it an extra couple swipes with the spoon. Make sure you have everything off of the sides. you just want to dollop it, and I usually try to do a couple different dollops like all over the pan. That's going to make sure that when you're spreading it, you're not lifting up the bottom of the crust, because it's really important that you want to keep the layers nice and even. You don't want the crust to come up on you, because right now it is really nice and crunchy. And I usually just take an extra spatula blade. You want to get all the creamy goodness. Out of there. So usually it doesn't really take too much. You can use a spoon. I don't know, I like the spatula too. This seems pretty soft, so I'll just use this guy. Now, you can really do whatever you want with the crust. I mean, shortbread, any kind of cookie crust. There's lots of different variations, and obviously all the different kinds of fruits you like. We had strawberry in our family for the longest time, and then one year I think my mom brought home raspberry jello instead of the strawberry jello, and instead of going out and buying the strawberry, she's like, well, what the heck, I'm gonna use this raspberry instead. And it didn't go over with the family so well at first until everyone tried it, and actually now raspberry, I think, is a huge favorite among the family. And like I said before, we make 2 trays of this. So usually we'll do 1 tray of the raspberry, and then we'll do another tray of the strawberry just to appease everyone, because of course it's never bad to have more of this as a dessert. And even for the 4th of July as well, you can do a blue layer using blueberries, and that will give it a great color divide, obviously, for all the different layers that you have there. You want to make sure that you get all this off the spoon. Even nuts at the bottom would be great as well. It's really up to you. You can really make it your own. But I think the pretzels work best because you have the nice saltiness from the bottom layer with the pretzels, and then you have this middle cream cheese, really decadent, creamy layer in the center, and then to finish you have this tartness, and the fruit really obviously gives it that nice tartness that really balances the sweet and salty that you have in the bottom layer of the crust. It will get messy. Just want to make sure it gets patted all down. And I always allow myself a little bit there. It's so good. The cream cheese gives it that richness that you really want in this dessert. And then for the top layer, we have the jello, and it needs to preset. So you use a large box, we're using strawberry today, and then another large box, usually 16 ounces of sweetened fruit in syrup. And it's really great if you keep it in the freezer beforehand, because you have the 2 cups of boiling water that you add to the jello mix, and after it gets completely dissolved, the really cold fruit in the syrup and the juices really cools down that mix so that you can more quickly add it to your 3-layer dessert. So we have this here. It's been moderately chilled in the fridge, and you just want to slowly layer it over here. Probably just over there. And you just want, you can toss around the fruit a little bit, make sure the fruit's evenly distributed throughout the pan. And this will probably take overnight to set. We usually make it 1 night prior to make sure everything's set up. We cover it with saran wrap. You want to make sure the saran wrap doesn't touch the top layer because you want all the nice layers to be really evenly divided. So thank you for coming and watching me make our pretzel jello dessert. It's a wonderful part of our family tradition, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks.